really subtle homophobia and racism and classism. Actually, the classism is really not subtle at all. It's really, really overt classism, really. But people don't talk about it. It'll be things like, there's this whole concept of everyone around here goes to Starbucks and wears Uggs, and that's just everyone is like that, and so the whole world, there's world peace, and there's like people, whenever something is going on, that's something that's happening in the newspapers. The newspapers might as well be like a work of fiction to a lot of the people I go to school with. I do think people live in a bubble in the area where I live. To me, Unitarian Universalism is
let's see, how should I put this? Basically, yeah, just not having the fear of people judging you. You know, well, just around in your community, basically, like, let's see, how should I put this? Like, let's just say that, you go into a group that, totally disagrees with you, and, you spill your guts to them, saying what you believe, and, they either give you these nasty looks or, they never talk to you. But, like...
So I'm Michelle Conklin. My title is Director of Religious Education for East Shore Unitarian Church. In that capacity, as Director of Religious Education, my job is to oversee the children and youth ministries of the church. A Unitarian Universalist is a person who belongs to a Unitarian Universalist church where the focus is on a universal spirit of life and love that is available to all people through direct experience. We have, rather than a dogma that tells us exactly what to do, we have an agreed upon 7 principles that help us live a good life, kind of like guidelines. The core part of who we are as a people is that God speaks to everyone through various means, and so it's your direct experience with the holy that is of ultimate importance. We are constantly moving forward with the world, so we are not relating ourselves back to a historical person or a historical document. Rather, we're looking at how does the world need to be loved today and how can we share that.
When you're around, like, your people here in the UU community, you don't have the fear of that. You can basically just express yourself, be yourself, and nobody will judge you.
Yes U is a group of youth and adults who have come together under the specific goal of exploring spirituality, but doing it in an interfaith context, with the understanding that the more you understand who you are and the more you understand your neighbor, the more both can accomplish together. Pastor Pat Wright had been involved with our Yes U group for a while. She was friends with the original inventors of the group, Walter Andrews and Keisha Morris. So she made a contact there. The Yes U group, from its very first year, 4 years ago, would go and see the Black Nativity. Everybody!
I was hired to teach music as an ethnomusicologist. I have no formal training, just what I do is just God-given talent. Was to come to Franklin High School and teach gospel music because there was no music program that the black students would attend. None of the black students were part of the bel canto choir. And so during the music period, the black kids just walked the halls. They weren't going to sing that classical stuff. So they hired me to come and do that. And then the school district sent me to 5 different schools. So finally, after doing it for 3 years, they let me go. And I didn't want the choir to disband because they were really good, very good choir. And I just opened it up to the community, and all these communities of different schools came together at Mount Zion Baptist Church, and we just called it the Total Experience at that point. And we've been going together now. We've just celebrated 35 years.
Where have you been?
22 countries, 5 continents, and 38 states.
We were able to set up a meeting with Pastor Pat just before the show so she could talk to our kids and adults. And we sent a pretty good group. I think it was about 20 people went, youth and adults. And Pat Wright came in and explained what she was doing in Mississippi.
I was devastated when I saw the pictures of Hurricane Katrina on television. I remember sitting in my living room gasping for air because I could not believe that all the pictures they were showing. I watched it on CNN, and I said, "My God, I got to do something. I don't know what to do. I have no way of knowing what to do." I told the choir, "You don't have a choice. We're going down to Mississippi and we're going to work." It seems every decade God puts me in another space. And so this is my time to do hurricane relief work. So the next thing I know, we did a major fundraiser, and we got on the plane and we went down and we met this one family, Yusuf and Judy Bryant.
And she's made that commitment that she's going to help one family at a time get back on their feet.
We've taken 5 trips down. I've taken 6. The choir has taken 5. Just build the house. It was destroyed, and we were left with just the rafters and the foundation. That's it.
Now, she was telling us about it, and she looked up and looked at your father, the leader, John Schmay, and said, "Hey, you guys should come with us." And that's all she needed to do for every single person in that room to catch fire. We sat around with Pastor Pat, and we said, "You know what? We want to do this, but we want to go as your guest. This is, to Pastor Pat, this is your thing, and we are just following you."
I'm down here because it's really important for our group to experience connection, and the only way to really do that is in action.
I've been thinking, I'm still thinking about it, but I've been thinking about a service trip with my kids to India or Africa. I lived in Africa when I was a little girl, and I want to get us up out of our bubble.
You know, my neighborhood is primarily white. My school is primarily white. Almost everything is upper economic class. And so I'm really nervous that I'm going to say something stupid, that I'm going to be rude unintentionally,
I really wanted to do something, especially for these people. Especially for me, not just because, it'll look on my resume. I know I'm not going to be able to completely help them with all their problems. I'm not a superhuman or anything like that. But, I just felt it's really nice to at least volunteer a week of my summer vacation, help these people out.
There were kind of 3 reasons. The first of which Jalen already named, and that's that it would look good on my resume. That's for sure. I was just starting to connect to my family's Christian roots and starting to figure out that there were a lot of things I liked about Christianity, and so I was really excited to get connected to this Christian community. And the third reason was that I had no idea what was going on in Mississippi. I didn't really know anything about the culture. I didn't know anything about Katrina, and I felt that there was something seriously wrong with the fact that I had no idea that was going on.
I am so lucky that I get this YesU group is very much a self-selected group. These are youth that are really spiritually questing and really open to thinking beyond what the media tells them to think. And so they had already come to experience many liberal Christians as a super focus on social justice, much like ourselves, focus on neighbor love, much like ourselves. And so I think the group that we took to Mississippi were at a place of, if not deeper understanding, at least at a place of an open mind to learn more. So it was about $1,000 for each youth to go, just their plane and hotel and food. And a lot of the parents said, "But wouldn't there be more done if I just donated that $1,000? Like, that was a big question." And we worked around that, and we said, well, technically, maybe they'd be better off if we just wrote a $10,000 check. But what we're doing by taking 10 youth down there to experience this hands-on, we're transforming them as well, and they're going to come back to this community and be allies for change and witness to what happened and to what needs to change. And that you can't put a price tag on.
We began to talk. The atmosphere changed. And after we explained to you